On March 18, 2026, a U.S. Senator asked the director of the FBI a simple question inside a Senate hearing room. Would the FBI commit to never buying Americans' location data without a warrant? The answer wasn't no. It was worse. The FBI director said his agency buys that data anyway, legally, he claimed, because nobody needs a warrant to buy something that's already for sale. That data doesn't come from hackers. It doesn't come from spies. It comes from a weather app, a flashlight app, a prayer app you downloaded for free 3 years ago and forgot you ever opened. This is where it came from. And it's not even the strangest place your privacy has ended up. There are more than 5 million apps on your phone's app store right now, and almost none of them ask you for money up front. That's not generosity. It's a business model, and it's one of the most profitable business models ever built. In 2026, the global mobile app economy is worth somewhere north of $600 billion. Free apps generate roughly 98% of that money, not the apps you pay for, the ones that cost nothing. So if you're not paying with your wallet, what are you paying with? The honest answer took a Senate hearing, a federal jury trial, and one of the largest consumer settlements in U.S. history to fully expose. And once you see how the money actually moves, from your thumb, through code you never see, into rooms you're never invited to, you won't look at a free app icon the same way again. Here's the pitch every free app makes, whether it says it out loud or not. Use this for free, and we'll make money some other way. That other way is almost always advertising, but not the kind on a billboard. In-app advertising alone is projected to bring in somewhere between $260 billion and $390 billion in 2026, depending on which analyst you ask. That's larger than the entire global movie and music industries combined. And it's not evenly spread. Research shows the top 5% of apps earn over 400 times more revenue than the bottom 25%. That gap exists because the winners figured something out early. The ad itself isn't the real product. The targeting is. Every scroll, every pause, every app you open right after this one, all of it gets scored, packaged, and auctioned in real time to advertisers in a process called real-time bidding. It happens in the milliseconds between you opening an app and the screen loading. You've probably never seen it happen. That's the point. Then there's the second revenue stream, in-app purchases. In 2025 alone, people spent $85.6 billion buying extra lives, filters, subscriptions, and premium tiers inside apps that were free to download, a 21% jump from the year before, and nearly 3 times what it was 5 years earlier. So the free app isn't the product. You are, your attention, your habits, and increasingly, your data. But advertising is the version of this story people already suspect. The one most people don't know about is Stranger, and it goes much further than showing you a better ad. Because some of the apps in this story weren't just selling your attention, they were selling you. In 2020, investigators discovered something that should have ended an app's existence overnight. Muslim Pro, a prayer and Quran app used by nearly 100 million people worldwide to find prayer times and the direction of Mecca, had been quietly sending users precise location data to a company called Xmode. Xmode was not an advertiser. It was a data broker with defense industry ties. By its own admission, it was tracking roughly 25 million devices inside the US every month and selling access to that movement data to buyers that reportedly included the US military. Think about what that means. Someone opens an app to pray 5 times a day. The app knows where they are each time they do it. And that pattern of movement, home, mosque, became a commodity that could be bought. Muslim Pro denied any wrongdoing and immediately cut ties with Xmode once the story broke. But the deeper issue was never really about one app. It is about a hidden layer built into thousands of apps, tiny code libraries called software development kits, whose only job is feeding your location to brokers you have never heard of. By 2024 and 2025, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission had banned 4 separate data brokers, Gravy Analytics, MobileWalla, OutLogic, and In-Market Media, from selling Americans sensitive location data after finding they had tracked visits to churches, domestic violence shelters, and military bases. One of those cases revealed something even more specific. Investigators found a data set for sale that showed how many phones had visited over 600 Planned Parenthood locations in a single week. The price to buy it? A little over $160. If location data is unsettling, health data is worse, because it doesn't just track where you go. It tracks who you're trying to become or trying not to. Flow is a period and fertility tracking app used by more than 300 million people. In 2021, the FTC found that between 2016 and 2019, Flow had promised users their data was private, while quietly sharing menstrual cycles, pregnancy attempts, and sexual health details with marketing firms, including Meta and Google. Flow settled with the FTC. It promised to do better. It got explicit consent going forward. Then in August 2025, a federal jury in California reached a verdict that suggested the promise hadn't held. Jurors found Meta liable for illegally collecting reproductive health data from Flow users through hidden tracking tools built directly into the app, years after the original scandal, and despite the company's own privacy claims. Court filings described it in blunt terms. Flow had allegedly let Meta eavesdrop on users' most private moments inside the app. Here's the part almost nobody flags. Flow isn't classified as a medical app. Legally, it's a wellness product, which means it doesn't fall under the same strict health privacy laws that protect the records at your actual doctor's office. That single classification is the reason a period tracking app could operate in a legal gray zone for the better part of a decade. Millions of women learned after the fact that the most intimate calendar of their lives, pregnancy attempts, missed periods, dates that meant something only to them, had been flowing somewhere else the entire time. And if you think this stays inside a courtroom in the world of advertising and marketing firms, it doesn't. Because somebody else has been buying this same kind of data too, and that somebody has a badge. This is where the story stops being about marketing. The Fourth Amendment says the government generally needs a warrant to search your private information, but there is a loophole large enough to drive a data center through. If a company already collected your information and is willing to sell it, agencies argue they do not need a warrant to buy it. You volunteered it to a weather app. Case closed, legally speaking. That's the exact logic FBI Director Kash Patel defended in that March 2026 Senate hearing. When Senator Ron Wyden asked whether the agency would stop buying Americans' location data commercially, Patel confirmed the FBI does buy it and argued it was consistent with the law. Officials from the Defense Intelligence Agency and ICE gave similarly unflinching answers. This isn't hypothetical. In February 2026, the Department of Homeland Security signed a billion-dollar contract with Palantir to deploy AI-driven data analytics across ICE and Customs and Border Protection. Reporting has also connected ICE to a tracking tool called WebLock, used to identify devices that had visited specific locations. Two bills have tried to close this loophole: the Fourth Amendment is Not for Sale Act and the Government Surveillance Reform Act. One already passed the House back in 2024. Neither has become law. So right now, in 2026, the pipeline still runs in one direction: your phone to a broker to whoever's willing to pay, private company or federal agency. No meaningful difference in the paperwork required. But data harvesting isn't even the only trap. Some companies figured out something more direct. Just make it nearly impossible to stop paying at all. Not every free trap is invisible. Some are built directly into the screen in front of you. In September 2025, the FTC secured a $2.5 billion settlement against Amazon. At the time, the largest dark patterns case in the agency's history. The claim: Amazon had spent years using manipulative design to trap people into Prime subscriptions and then made cancellation deliberately painful. Court discovery uncovered the internal name Amazon reportedly gave its own cancellation flow, Iliad, after Homer's epic about a war that lasted 10 years. Employees, in leaked internal messages, called unwanted Prime subscriptions an unspoken cancer. One referenced a chief dark arts officer. The settlement covered roughly 35 million affected customers, offering refunds up to $51 each. Amazon is not alone. In the same window, Google faced its own reckoning. In September 2025, a jury awarded $425 million in a case alleging Google kept collecting data from users' phones through third-party apps, even after they had switched their tracking settings off. Separately, Google agreed to pay $135 million to settle claims it collected Android users' cellular data without permission. Free apps, free shipping, free storage. The pattern repeats because it works until it does not, and the fine becomes the cost of doing business, sometimes literally built into the budget in advance. And then there's the simplest scam of all, apps that were never honest to begin with. In April 2026, Apple pulled an app called Free Cash from the App Store after it reportedly climbed the charts by tricking users, described by investigators as a straightforward data harvesting operation wearing the mask of a rewards app. Lay these 5 cases side by side: a prayer app, a period tracker, the FBI, Amazon, a fake rewards app, and the exact same pattern shows up in every one of them. None of this was an accident, and none of it was hidden by incompetence. It was the business plan. Free was never the absence of a price. It was a redirection of it away from your bank account and into something harder to see and even harder to get back: your location history, your reproductive calendar, your late night scrolling patterns, your inability to find the cancel button. Remember that $600 billion number from the start of this video? Advertising and in-app purchases only account for part of it. Underneath that legitimate half sits an entire second economy: data brokers, government contracts, dark patterns built specifically to monetize the parts of your life you assumed were private, simply because no one ever asked you to pay for them. The FBI didn't need to hack your phone. It just needed to wait for someone to sell what your phone was already giving away for free. That's not a glitch in the system. That is the system. None of this means you have to delete every app on your phone and disappear into the woods. It means the free versus paid decision was never really about money. It was about which currency you're willing to spend. A few things actually help: checking which apps still have location access running in the background, reading what a wellness app promises versus what it's legally required to protect, and remembering that $2.5 billion in fines only happens after millions of people already paid the real price first. The next time an app asks for a permission it doesn't obviously need, that pause you feel? Trust it. Somewhere out there, a senator is still waiting for a straight answer. Maybe the more useful question isn't whether these apps are free. It's who decided that free was ever the right word for this.